Hey friends, welcome back. This is episode 88. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about weight gain and the holidays.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that people think that it's a thing, like that they're just reporting the news, right? Like people gain weight during, like, it's like you have to, it's the holidays and we have to gain weight. Like it's just like a thing, like they go together, which is
Right.
very interesting to me. Um, because I guess I believed it was a thing too. I didn't believe it for me, but I was like, okay, I guess like that's a thing, I guess, because people talk about it all the time and people stress about the holidays and stress about all this food. And for some reason, I don't ever hear people talk about like dieting or not eating sugar, until it's like Halloween week. And then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna quit eating sugar. And I'm like,
What?
I mean, April wasn't a good time to pick not eating sugar. like, and
Yeah.
then they go into this and like it sets them up for failure because then whenever we tell our brain it cannot have something,
Oh.
it's like, well, yeah, that's all I'm going to think about all the
Yeah.
time. Every thought is going to be related to the thing that I cannot have. Right. And so it's like, you guys, we're setting ourselves up for failure if we do this. And so I thought it would be interesting to dive in because we both have different journeys, different fitness journeys, different perspectives in life. So talking about like this whole thing. So I really want to kind of it's not a myth. I just want to like unravel some of the drama and the strong beliefs around this. Like it doesn't have to be this way.
Right. So I mean, I would call it a myth that people gain weight over the holidays. So it doesn't have to be a thing, right?
No.
So and it's always a little bit of a challenge, especially this time of year, like because we're like Thanksgiving's coming soon, right? Christmas is around the corner.
Thanksgiving's next week.
And different holidays people have in December. And so it always gets a little bit challenged because also my appointments kind of dwindle down at the end of the year because a lot of folks don't want to hear that they can't have things, right? Like, don't tell me I can't have pumpkin pie for the holidays. Don't tell me I can't have, XYZ, or, oh, mom's stuffing, or I can't have that, ham or turkey, or wouldn't be turkey, it'd be like ham, or for those folks who like eat leg of lamb or something. Like if you tell them, no, you can't have that, oh, everything goes out the window. So so it always gets a little bit challenging at the end of the year because everybody's like, oh, I'm going to wait till January. Okay, but what's really going to change in January versus now? Right. And I just saw this meme I was telling you about the other day that I think it said that did calculations of all the meals between now and the end of the year in January, and it's something like 143, what did I say, 141? It's over 140 meals left before the end of the year. And the holiday meals, there's about 11 holiday meals. Okay. But we have this perception around the holidays, right, that you don't get this food other times of the year, or it's like, mom or grandma's or, auntie's special recipe, right, or grandpa's special recipe. And so it's a special treat, right, that people can indulge or overindulge on the holidays. Mm-hmm. But so they'll put off if it's weight loss goals or their lifestyle or health goals until the new year for those 11 meals, right? And so to keep it in perspective, I liked seeing that meme because I was like, oh, there's over 140 meals left at the end of the year if you're doing 3 meals a day. Mm-hmm. That there's a lot more influence over 140 to 11, right? 11 out of 140 plus. Yeah. So I think what is different around the holidays when it comes to weight gain is because of the emotional weight that the holidays have for folks. Yeah. And that can come in so many different forms, right? But oftentimes around the holidays, we're around family that maybe we're not normally around, right? It's always, everybody considers a special occasion. Like if it's holidays around Christmas, people want to give presents. And so if that is a financial burden for folks, right? People associate that stress around the holidays. And so we talked about emotional stress and adrenal fatigue.
Yep.
But when we're experiencing that stress around the holidays, it doesn't matter. Our body still translates that as stress and puts us in that survival mode. So it says, hey, if I'm in survival mode, I need to be able to run away from that lion and survive. And so all the fuel that I put in my body, I'm going to either use it right now or I'm going to store it, right? Because I don't know when that lion's coming. It could come out of the woodwork anytime. And so if we're not exerting that energy and exercising and blowing off that steam or finishing the cycle, that stress cycle, right? Then our body's automatically going to store anything that you indulge in. It's automatically going to store that as fat.
Yeah.
And so there's not a gradual process. So when people are like, I know that weight gain is a thing for the holidays, but when people would say, I gained 7 pounds or 10 pounds or 12 pounds over the holidays, I'm thinking, oh, that's just a few days. So it's not just the food, it's how our body is using that food, right? And if we don't use it as quick fuel and go for a walk around the block or, work out, our body's going to store it because it's like it's waiting for that, opportunity to run away from that lion, because we've been sending messages to our brain and to our body that lion is after us. It's going to come around that corner any moment, right? Because of the emotional stress around whatever it looks like for folks around holidays.
Yep. And I think too, we just have to look at the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
So the whole picture is, yes, if you work 8 to 5, there's holiday parties. People are bringing stuff to work all the time, right? So the accessibility of food that's higher in sugar, higher in non-nutritious nutrients, right? People are not bringing broccoli and carrots to the office for holidays, right?
You won't see that at the cookie exchange.
So it's more available, and we have to yes, it's more available, right? And we have to know how to work with our brain. This is really what the holidays are. It's all about brain management, because the brain is going to want to seek pleasure, right? Avoid pain and suffering, and utilize as little energy as possible. Okay. Perfect storm for lots of accessibility of delicious, pleasure giving food.
Yeah.
Short days, right? So we don't get outside as much. We don't go exercise outside as much. We go inside and we sit a lot more and watch TV or whatever we do, right? Because it's dark early.
Yeah.
Right. So then it meets that need of not utilizing a little energy as possible. Right. And avoid pain and suffering. Okay. It's sometimes emotionally it's painful and suffering. So then we just eat some more to indulge in some more pleasure. Right. So that's really what it is. It's just emotional brain management during the holidays. Seeing, right? I see the days are shorter. I don't want to get outside. I don't want to be active. Okay. How can I adjust my schedule then to work with who I am and how my brain wants? It doesn't want to go outside in the dark. Do I get up earlier and go for my walk? Do I go for my walk on my lunch break? Right? Do I need to move my workouts to a different time? Or do I just commit to my workouts? Like, yeah, I'm going to go at 6 p.m. at night, even though it feels like 9 p.m. Right.
Right.
And maintaining a little bit of normalcy in our lives. Because a lot of times we allow the holiday seasons to just to hijack our schedule. And that doesn't feel good to us either. It feels like we even have less control. And then we have to go do our buffering behaviors to feel a little bit more back in control. So it's like, what I like to do is like, I'm a planner though. I like to have all of these holidays already like mapped out with my family. So I know what days I'm supposed to be where, so then I can make sure I have normalcy in my schedule on the other days.
Right.
Right. Um, and it's just like planning ahead, knowing, right? Like knowing like these things are coming. Like, like my family used to on Thanksgiving, and we think very differently. They love Thanksgiving food. And their logic was like, I know I'm going to overeat and eat a lot of calories. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to eat all day until the Thanksgiving meal. And that might be noon or it might be in the evening, right? So they just would not eat at all until we hit Thanksgiving meal, right? And they're starving by then. And they like it that way because then they can eat more food, right? So then we have like huge plates, they fill the plate, and then they might go up for seconds because the thought process, the mindset that's not being managed is, I'm not going to get this food again until next year.
Right.
Or Aunt Sally might die and I might never get this cherry fluff ever again, right? So then their brains are already like, it's gone into scarcity, right? I can't have food till I eat this Thanksgiving meal. I can't have this again until next year. So then we just overeat and we stuff ourselves. And then like we sit around for several hours to go eat some more.
Yeah.
Right. And then we feel like crap. And because we feel like crap, we start mentally beating ourselves up. And then we're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll just get through the holiday season. I obviously am not disciplined enough. I'm obviously not a good enough human, worthy enough human. Look how terrible I ate. I'm just going to eat terrible Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to quit exercising because it doesn't matter because I don't do things right. Right. And then they just get on this train where like they sabotage everything.
Right.
And then our buffering, we have to go buffer. So we either have to go spend money, more money than we have for all these gifts so we can feel better, right? Retail therapy, or we Netflix it out, or we scroll it out, or we eat some more to feel better, or we start drinking or doing drugs, all these buffering activities to not feel the negative emotions we're feeling.
Right.
So it just becomes this huge like hurricane of like self-sabotage.
Yeah. It kind of snowballs on folks, yeah, before you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just to know, like, okay, if I'm going to plan this out, like, to be fair, and you're probably different than me because I apparently am a strange human. I don't get an emotional response from food.
Yeah.
Right. Like it doesn't make me feel happy or calm or peaceful or comforted. Right. Like it's just like drinking water to me. It's like, I have to do this because this is part of existing as a human. Right. So I don't get excited about Thanksgiving. I get excited about holidays in which I receive a present, and I don't receive a present on Thanksgiving. Let's be honest. And I don't really love the food. So I've always been the kid that's like, I'm going to eat the food that I like for breakfast. Like I eat breakfast, I eat lunch, and I eat dinner. Like I'm going to eat breakfast on Thanksgiving Day. And then I'm probably, if we're having Thanksgiving at dinner, I'm probably going to eat lunch then because I want to eat the food I want to eat. And it's not Thanksgiving food. So by the time I hit Thanksgiving dinner, like I'm just normally hungry. Right. And so I just get a plate and I don't feel it because I'm just going to eat my normal amount of food. And I'm going to go on with life because it's another meal for me that I don't particularly love most of the food.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've never like, I don't understand, like, why are people excited about Thanksgiving or why are we overeating? Like, I just want to eat my normal serving and go outside and play. Like, I don't need 2 plates full of this stuff.
I think I mean everybody's experience is different, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the holidays, our traditional Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so
Yeah.
we were really big, like my family didn't really celebrate Thanksgiving. I mean, it was like an extra day off for
Yeah.
us, but
Yeah.
so but like around Christmas, if you had like I have a really big family,
Mhm.
right? And so it was always a big deal because we cooked all day, and I enjoy cooking. I find a lot of happiness and joy in cooking, and so it was really for us it was about cooking all day. It was a time where we spent time together, we joked in the kitchen, and of course a lot of the smells around the Thanksgiving meal, that's where a lot of people have really good memories around that. And so when we all get together, people they may not enjoy everybody at the table, right? People may have not have the best relationships with their family, and they may only see them that's one time twice a year. But the food is something that people often find really comforting,
Yeah.
right? And so we'll have a tendency to overindulge, or people will think, oh, they don't always think about moderation. They're like, this is a limited time deal. This is the day that it's available, right? With all the delicious smells and tastes. And this is, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat it until I can't eat anymore.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is strange that, and I think this is sort of part of maybe like American culture, if you will, that people don't think or don't, I don't know, enjoy those foods other times of the year.
I know,
I
right?
don't quite understand that, to be honest, either. I mean, my husband, he loves stuffing,
Yeah.
right? So we make stuffing. It's not just for the holiday season, but for a lot of people it is, right? Like a lot of people, they don't eat sweet potatoes any other time of year except for around holidays, and that's it. And they only eat sweet potatoes one way. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
um
I had a friend that tell me this, like her family believed like you only eat those Thanksgiving dishes at Thanksgiving because that's what makes it special. If you eat it any other time of the year, then it's not special.
oh yeah, yeah.
And again, as a coach, I'm like, wait, it's not the sweet potatoes that are special. It's your thoughts about the sweet potatoes that make them special. So if you want them to be special, you just have thoughts that they're special.
Right. You can move, you can move that around. So then, I love that you touch base on that scarcity mode, right? Because it's this like, if this is a one-time deal, I've got to partake in it now,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, and when people have this, and it's a struggle when people are maybe dieting or trying to watch, their calories or their inflammatory foods, and they're trying to put those restrictions on themselves, but they're like, this is the only time of year, the only chance I get to eat this, and I love like remembering the taste and the smells of it. Then it becomes this internal struggle, right? That adds on to emotional stress.
Yes. I want to give you guys like a little I think it's very helpful. It's like a little cheat that I do. And it's because I'm picky and I don't want to, my family has this you should eat it all, right? Like if you get it, you have to eat it. And I'm non-committal because I'm so picky. What I did is like I would get my plate and like there always has like there's a spoon in every dish, right? And like I would barely I would not fill that spoon up. Like I would just get enough on that spoon so it was like 2 bites. Because I didn't want to commit myself. If I ate it and I didn't like it, I don't want to have to eat 5 bitefuls of this, right? But because I did that to everything that I wanted to try, then I could pick like, okay, I like this the best. And I'm going to go back and get another spoon, maybe a spoonful of it. Right. And so then I just never overate because it was like just a little of everything. And then what I like, I might go back and get it, but I never have to be committed to like this whole thing here. And I think that's a great way for people to be able to eat the things. All the spread is just like, get one spoonful, right? And then when you want to go back, you just choose the one or two things that you really liked and get a bigger spoonful of those.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfect. I also think slowing down when we eat, right, and sort of our timing, because I think for a couple of reasons, people may tend to eat quicker. They may already eat quickly in general, but then oftentimes when we're in larger crowds and there's a lot of people there, right, and you're like, oh, I want my share. Or if you're around the table and you guys are in heated like discussions about politics or sports teams or whatever, people have a tendency to eat quickly, right? And then it's this idea of I know what that's supposed to taste like, and I really want another serving. And so that's when people will often overeat because they're eating quickly, because either like it's emotionally charged, or they're like, oh, I want my share because there's so many people here, I want to make sure I get enough.
Yes, scarcity and pack mentality. If you've ever fed 3 dogs at once, like it's
exactly.
Yeah.
So
reminding yourself like this isn't scarce.
Yeah.
Like if I love Aunt Sally's sweet potatoes, like this year, I'm gonna tell Aunt Sally I love it and ask for the recipe. And I'm gonna get her recipe, and that's what I really want, is her legacy, her memory, right? That I can recreate this.
Exactly.
Right? And then just being intentional about that, like I want her recipes to recreate this. Then I can have it forever. It's not this one-time thing. Or I choose to go have, like in February, like, hey, Aunt Sally, I'd love to come have dinner with you. Could you make those sweet potatoes for me? And I'll bring this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to reach out to those family members outside of the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit less stressful scenario.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And just like, I want to give to you guys that, again, this is all about, holidays are about mindset and managing your mind, right? So taking time now before the holidays, well, I guess this podcast will go up after Thanksgiving. But taking the time to like sit down with yourself and ask yourself, like, what is the most caring thing I can do for myself? How do I want to approach the rest of the holiday season, right? Like, how can I be gentle and compassionate with myself? Like, I want to get all these people presents. How can I do that and not make my life more stressful? I put a budget around it and know that maybe it's only $10 per person. That doesn't mean I don't love them less. Doesn't mean anything about me. It means this is how I want to show up for them, but this is how I want to take care of me, right? And when you do choose to indulge in the excessive sweet treats that have been brought to the office, like I'm going to choose to eat this, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Right? I'm not going to catastrophize it and be like, this is going to make me gain 5 pounds. I'm a terrible person. I'm not disciplined, blah, blah, blah. Like, this cupcake looks delicious and I'm going to eat it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to feel bad for it. Right? Or I'm just going to eat half of it. I'm going to split it with my friend. Right? And just taking this fear away from like, I'm a horrible person, I'm going to gain weight. Like I'm choosing how I show up, and I'm going to choose to eat this, or I'm going to choose not to eat this. And it doesn't mean anything about who I am as a person. Right. And if I do gain 5 pounds the holiday season, it means nothing about who I am. Right. It just means like, hey, I chose to show up in the world, and I chose to indulge in the things I wanted to. I chose not to maintain my exercise schedule. I chose these things, and it's fine. And I'm going to make different choices. Right? I'm going to choose differently tomorrow. Like, so what, you blow your diet today, right? Or even you blow lunch today. I'm going to choose differently the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we get into like this like sabotage mode where it's like I've screwed up just the whole season. I'll just like, I'm going to fail the whole season. So I'm just like going to sabotage it all.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always flexibility, right? Yeah. There's always room to make different choices. And so being conscious and aware of that, I think, yeah, is a quite a large component of this. Yeah. When we're talking about managing that mindset around the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah. And choosing like how you show up. Like, gosh, I know Uncle Bob's going to be at Christmas or Hanukkah or Thanksgiving or whatever. And like that man is going to want to talk to me about politics, right? Like, how am I going to show up to that? Am I going to stress about it? Am I going to engage with him? Am I going to fight with him? Because I get to choose how I show up. Or am I going to choose to have healthy boundaries, loving boundaries for myself and for him, in which boundaries are for me to act upon, not him. Okay, Bob, not talking about politics. I'd love to talk about your passion in woodworking.
Yeah.
And if he's like, no, I want to talk politics, awesome. I'm so glad and happy to see you. We'll catch up later. And then you just walk off and go talk to somebody else. Right.
Yeah.
It's just about being mindful and like managing your mind. You like the holidays are they're just days that we've created traditions around, right? And then there is more accessibility of food and there is more accessibility to not be as active, but you still have choices in all of it.
Right.
Yeah. What else?
Perfect. No, I think that is perfect, right? Just reminding people that this time of year, right? It's very easy for us to kind of fall back into that autopilot, right? Kind of fall back into those buffering ways, right? That we kind of handle stress and handle sort of all the changes that are a little bit different around the holidays than other times of the year. And so being conscious of your choices and how you show up, I think is really where it's at, and underlining that message for folks, that whatever you choose, that you get to choose that, right? And to make choices that feel good, make choices that help you enjoy your day and enjoy your meals and enjoy your time and your holidays and whatever that looks like, is the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. Taking care of you and being kind to you through this holiday season, right? And being compassionate and forgiving and just very compassionate towards yourself.
Yeah.
And I think then you show up in the world in a way that you want to and can be proud of, because you're being compassionate to you and not being a huge asshole to yourself through the whole holiday season. So, all right. Happy holidays, my friends. We will catch you guys next time.